In this video, I'm going to show you how to create a pop-up window that saves whatever the user types. And here's code that does the most basic version of this. It's called jOptionPane.showInputDialog. And what showInputDialog means is it means show an input window, because the word dialog means something like window. So when I run that command, it's going to pop open a window that looks like this. That's what the window is going to look like. And whatever I have in quotation marks here, what's your name? That's going to be the text that appears in the window. So that's the question that I'd ask. And then whatever the user types inside this little text box, whenever they click OK, that user text is going to get saved here inside the name variable. A couple of things to notice. The name variable, I've declared it as a string. So what that means is that the name variable can save text. And that's always true. No matter what the user types into that box, it always saves as text. The other thing to notice is this equals sign. I said before that in Java, equals means a specific thing. Equals is an action that means take what's on the right and save it inside what's on the left. So what's on the right is whatever they type into the box, and the equals sign is what tells you that it's getting saved inside the variable on the left. Let's type one together. So here I am inside IntelliJ. You can type string response equals jOptionPane. And notice that the O is capital, and the P is capital, and the J is capital. And this is a letter O, not a number 0. Dot show input dialog, and then what's your name? So on yours, the jOptionPane may appear in red. If you put your mouse cursor on it, it might give you an option that says hit Alt-Enter to add this. So if you're on a PC, you hit Alt-Enter. I'm not sure what it is on a Mac. But what that does is it adds this line above the public class declaration. So if you just want to type that yourself, here, let's delete it. So see how it's red again? If I just want to type import swingx dot, oh, I forgot what it was. Hold on. If you want to just type javax.swing. So import javax.swing. And then that's the star character. That's going to do the same thing. So now let's run it. And when you run it, you should see a little window appear like this. And whatever I type in the box, Bob, is now saved into response. But you didn't see what happened with the value that you saved. So it might be better to print line hello and then response. So that now whatever you typed, on the next line it will display hello and then your name. So go ahead and try that, run it. So what if I wanted to ask two questions? I know this is the line that asks the question, so I'd want this line to happen twice. So if I copy and paste it, you'll see what happens. If I copy and paste it, this is in red, and if you put your cursor on top of it and then just wait for a second, it says variable response is already defined. So if you remember way from the third week, string response means that you're creating a new variable that can hold text. And what it's complaining about here is it's saying, hey, you've already made a variable called response, so you can't make another one. So you have two choices. You could create a different variable name. So now you're saying create a text variable called response2. Or if you wanted to, you could do this. And what this does is it doesn't make a new variable. It just saves the answer to the second question over top of the answer to the first question. So here, if I typed Bob, we'd save Bob inside response. And then here, if I typed Phil, Phil is going to get saved over top of response. Over top of Bob. So depending on what you're trying to do, you could do either one of those approaches. So let's do this. What's your first name? What's your last name? So if I do this, this probably doesn't make very much sense because I'm going to type my first name, which gets saved into response, and then I'm going to type my last name, which is going to destroy whatever I used to have inside that variable. So that's only going to say my last name. Let's see what it looks like. So my first name is Bob. My last name is Dobrovich. That's not true. My first name is David. And down here it just says, hi, Dobrovich. So what happened to the Bob that I typed? The Bob that I typed got overwritten on this line. So if you want to save all of the things that you type, you have to save them inside different variables. And response and response to aren't very clear names. So I'm going to call this first for first name, and I'm going to call this last for last name. And now I can print hi, first, and then last. So I know I'm probably typing faster than you're able to, but you can pause the video. So just watch what I do and listen, and then you can pause the video and try and type it yourself. So let's run this code now and see what it does. So my first name is actually David. My last name is Dobrovich. And so now it says, hi, David Dobrovich. Come back in the next video to see how you can use a pop-up window to save a number that the user types.